Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth. And today from Steadfast 316, they have a brand new release in the handy size LSB inside column reference, also known as the ICR. And one thing that Steadfast is doing that I think is innovative is they are taking some of their popular larger full-size text blocks and bringing them down into those personal and handy size. So let's talk about the first time they did this. First, this is the giant print reference Bible. This has a 13-point font. It's got your notes and references on the bottom. Really big Bible. Love that herringbone-ish style gilt line there, but just excellent work with this. Just a beautiful layout, beautiful Bible. So what did they do? They took this one called the Personal Size Reference Bible, and it is identical. It is the same exact layout. Only this one has a 9.5-point font with the references and notes on the bottom. So let's go to page 863 and I'll show you how these are identical text blocks. 863, we're in Psalm 74. Go ahead and pull this big guy in there and you can see they are identical, only this one is a little bit smaller. This one is a personal size. I would actually consider this more of a compact Bible and this more of a personal size Bible. But now let's go with one of the most innovative layouts that Steadfast has ever done, and that is the inside column reference. This is beautiful. This has that 11-point font, big and readable, beautiful. This got the references on the top, your footnotes on the bottom, and it really pulls that text out of the gutter. Beautiful red accents. This was actually one of their faux leather editions that I had rebound. Just love this layout in that 11-point font. And they always have that really nice 32 GSM paper. Just excellent. Single column. So if you are a fan of a single column Bible, the only way to handle the references, in my opinion, is when you put them inside on that gutter. It pulls your text way out of the gutter, makes it nice and usable and readable. You may have to work a little bit to get the references and notes out of the gutter, but if you're working that hard to study, you don't mind a little bit of work to get to those references and notes. What you want is that text well outside the gutter. So now let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is the brand new handy size LSB inside column reference. Now what's really nice about Steadfast is that they have several editions in several price ranges. This is going to be one of the least expensive editions because it doesn't have gilding. It has a faux leather cover. It does have some indexes, so that's an upcharge, but you can get them without indexes. So you can spend a very reasonable amount of money and get the same guts that you can get in some of their Bibles that you like. So let's go ahead and open this up. And you can see this is the exact same as the larger ICR, because one of the complaints with the giant print and one of the complaints with the ICR is they were big and hard to handle. But this one, you're going to get all that same layout, that same information, that same style, and you're going to get your references on the top, your notes on the bottom. This is a 9.5-point font. So you'll lose about 1.5 points in font size, but really, this reads really nicely. And actually, I was a little critical of the PPR back when I reviewed it, saying that the font looked a little smaller. I'll show you that I may have been wrong about that, because I'm not too big to admit when I'm wrong, because this looks like a really nice large print Bible in a handy size. And also, when you get to the New Testament, this one has the words of Christ in red. I really hope they do the same thing they did with the PPR and later come out with a black letter edition, but you have to admit those are some really nice red letters. This is just an excellent layout. So think about this. This is about 2 inches thick, and this is about 9.5 by 6.5 inches wide. This is a big, big dude. And look, you can see this is about probably 2 inches shorter and about 1 inch less wide. And then when you go to thickness, look at that. I mean, there's no comparison. This is half as thick. This is probably barely over 1 inch thick. This is probably over 2 inches thick. So much more easy to handle, and you don't lose a lot. So let's compare the two. Let's look at them together. Let's go to page 1010, 1011 in this one, and we're going to go to page 1010, 1011 in this one. And then when you compare them side by side, you can see, I mean, that's a pretty big give up when it comes to font size, but it's kind of tough to tell, to be honest. This layout from 2K Denmark and that dark font really stand out in this. And the leading space. Now, what is leading space? Leading space is the space between the lines. And that is where I think the PPR suffers a little bit and why the font to my eye looked a little smaller. So let's go ahead and compare the two of these. This is the PPR, and it is a 9.5 point font. This is the handy size ICR, and it is a 9.5 point font. And you can see the fonts are pretty much the same size, but you can see that the text in the PPR is so much tighter, so much closer together, and that leading space between the lines isn't as much. So folks, this space between the lines here, that matters a lot when it comes to readability. Font size is important. Font darkness, line spacing, and the way a text is laid out really goes a long way on how easy it is to read. So this LSB ICR handy size is a home run. And Steadfast has done a really good job of taking some of the more big bulky blocks and making them smaller. The only other publisher I know of that does this is Skylar, where they do the quintel and the personal size quintel, which is the same layout, only a little bit smaller. I'd love to see some publishers adopt this model to where they offer some really popular larger text blocks in a smaller, more handy size. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.